Hello everyone, and thanks again for joining me here once again. This week we are going to take a look at 7 places that you absolutely cannot take pictures in North Korea. So previously I've done a video pretty much a few years ago about the rules on taking pictures in North Korea. I'll probably get it to pop up here or here so you can have a look. These are the general rules that I tell all of the tourists going to North Korea, but generally it's a lot more relaxed than you might think. There are basically 3 of those rules. The first rule is no taking photos of construction sites. Second rule is no photos of military. And thirdly, be respectful when taking any photos of any images of the leaders. But in this video, we're going to take a look at 7 more places that you really cannot take photos. I've chosen these places because they just came into my mind as places that really stuck out, either because it's really strange that you can't film there or take photos there, or because of their severity. It's really stuck in my mind, and it's places that I really tell tourists, okay, absolutely no photos here. These places vary in severity, so taking a photo in one of the locations might just result in a guide being like, oh, by the way, we told you there's no photos, or they might be a bit more serious, like really serious. The nature of this video means that it's inherently difficult to show you these places, but I will do my best to make it as interesting as possible for you guys. Some of the videos and images are not my own, and where necessary have been credited. So again, before we get into everything, I want to say a massive thank you to my patrons, the people that support this channel and keep this going. That is Clarke, James, Charles, Alex, Simon, Masaki, and James Hickman. Thank you so much for everyone who supports me. If you want to consider becoming a patron, then please do have a look at my patrons page. It's in the link below, and it goes a long way to support this channel and keep it going. Thank you very much, and without further ado, let's have a look at our first location, which is the foreign language bookshop. The shop rules, wanting to keep their products secretive, who knows? Either way, the ladies at the foreign language bookshop do not like it when you take photos inside there. The next one is the War Museum. Unfortunately, one of the coolest places in North Korea, and really everyone wants to take a photo or a video here, but unfortunately it's quite strict. They don't take your phones from you here, but after all the warnings that you get at the start, you know not to even dare get your phone out. It's such a shame because the building is massive and it's very cool inside, and I would love to show you guys, but it probably has a little bit to do with the fact that the museum is quite intense. Obviously it tells the side of the DPRK narrative, and some of the images and things that are displayed at the museum are quite anti-imperialist, anti-American, anti-Japanese, and maybe it's not really the image that the DPRK kind of want to show in the outside world. Who knows though, maybe they just want to protect their museum collection and not make it available for outside world eyes unless you go and visit. Next up is the Munsu Waterpark. So, of course, you can actually take videos and photos inside the water park after you've gone through the entrance. Although this is kind of weird since everyone is walking around in their swimsuits, you don't really want to be around there holding your camera out and filming everything. And of course, if you get your camera out in the changing rooms, they might kick you out. But there is one place in the water park where you are absolutely not permitted to take photos, and that is right at the entrance. May seem a little bit weird, but basically this is because as you walk in the entrance to the Munsu Waterpark, there's a big statue of Kim Jong-il in a very fitting environment, seemingly kind of chilling at a beach. It's pretty grand and also pretty chill at the same time. Next up is the most sensitive place in this entire video, and one of the most sensitive places in the whole of North Korea. In fact, it's probably the most sensitive place in the whole of North Korea. This is the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, and it is where leaders Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung lie in state. Because of this reason, it's an extremely sacred place in North Korea, and photography is absolutely not permitted. Indeed, you are not allowed anything in your pockets, from chewing gum to tissue paper to coins and keys. Everything must be left on the bus. This is a big shame again because obviously it's the most sacred place in North Korea. The building is also the most grand. It is massive, absolutely massive, and the walls and ceilings and everything, the marble floors. It is an incredibly grand building and structure, and certainly one of the most impressive things that you will see in the DPRK. Do not try and take any photos and videos here. You will go through rigorous security, including metal detectors. So apart from what appears on state media, you are not going to be able to have a look inside the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun unless you visit yourself. Moving swiftly on and staying quite strict but a little bit less strict is the market in Rason. This is the only place that you can visit a local market in North Korea, and it's located in North Korea's northeast. I've spoken a lot about Rason and I keep promising you guys a vlog about it, so by now, if I haven't done it yet, I will definitely do it sometime soon. Stick around for it. It's North Korea's very interesting special economic zone. Because of this reason, it's also a little bit more free and they have a bit more of a market culture. But just like many markets around the world, especially in the DPRK, there's a lot of underground things going on. Just like many markets in the world, at this market there may be some, not so much dodgy dealings, but let's say some grey areas that might be being overlooked. And also, it's not the most affluent of areas, so to speak. Not really the image that the DPRK may want to be projecting over itself. It's such a shame, again, because it's a very interesting place to visit. You get to see how a North Korean market works. It's absolutely massive. You can walk around it for hours with various different buildings and sections of the market. And you can see all of the foreign things that come into North Korea, as well as DPRK made produce. Maybe one day we will be allowed to take photos and videos there, so stick around for that. Otherwise, you'll have to make the trek up to Rason in the northeast of North Korea. Next up, and staying with the world of shopping and commerce, is the Kwangbok Supermarket. A lot less strict in terms of photography and videos than the market in Rason. However, it is still prohibited. You should not take photos in the Kwangbok Supermarket. Presumably not a fan of photography and videos due to its use of the unofficial exchange rate of the Korean People's Won, and also potentially maybe any imports that shouldn't really have been imported. The Kwangbok Supermarket is a very interesting and very normal local supermarket in North Korea. It is a very standard stop for pretty much all of the tours to North Korea. You can spend a few hours there, and it's a shame that I cannot show you on here. As I said, it's not super strict like the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, like the market in Rason. You won't be made to leave your cameras on the bus. However, you should not take photos and videos in there. I'm not condoning that at all, but if you type it in on Google, you are more likely to find videos and photos that people have taken there. And lastly, a new one. Unfortunately, everyone is kind of sad about this new edition, and to be fair, we don't know if these restrictions will still be in place when we go back to North Korea, finally, after COVID is over, fingers crossed. But in the summer of 2019, around that time, this new restriction came in that prevents photography from the top of the Juche Tower. If you don't know what the Juche Tower is, that's that big tower in Pyongyang just by the river with that flame on the top of it. Of course, because of its height, it gives an amazing 360-degree view of Pyongyang. It's an incredible view up there over the river, and you get to see all of those beautiful pastel-colored houses, apartments, and for really far in the distance in Pyongyang. Of course, you can still go up it and enjoy this view, but you won't be able to take any pictures or record any video, unfortunately. For all those wondering what going up the Juche Tower is like, here's one I made a few years ago. So we are currently at the top of the Juche Tower, which is 150 meters up above Pyongyang. So behind me you can see Pyongyang sea view. At the top of the Juche Tower you get a 360-degree view of Pyongyang. So let's have a look at what we can see. We can see the famous Pyongyang Hotel, as well as Ramyeon Street, which is the newest street in Pyongyang, built in 2017. And behind you over here, you have the Taedonggang River as well, which is the river running through Pyongyang, dividing it east and west. There's no official reason as to why they changed the rules here, but you can only speculate that potentially there's a bit of construction going on in line of view when you look down from the tower that the DPRK don't want you to photo or video. And finally, just before I conclude, I want to mention that this is not by any means an inclusive list. As I mentioned at the start, there are 3 things that you have to remember when taking photos and videos in North Korea. There's also this list that I've just gone through of 7 places that you absolutely cannot take photos, but there are way more. You don't have to worry about asking in advance at every single location. And aside from the rules that I've gone through earlier, you can pretty much take photos everywhere. It is surprisingly free. You guys can tell from my Instagram, from all of my vlogs and videos that I make on here, it is surprisingly free taking photos in North Korea. However, there are rules that you need to stick to, and there are some places, the rules are changing constantly, that you can't take photos or videos in. But don't worry, if you visit a place and you can't take photos, aside from all of these rules, then the guides will tell you. You will be informed, don't worry. So that is it. This was 7 places that you absolutely can't take images or videos in North Korea. If you want to see them for yourselves, I guess you'll have to come and visit. Thanks very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Put in the comments what you'd like to see me do next, any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.